My name is Nick Murray. I'm a producer at Cinematography Films, and I'm also a director of photography, and I'm a director of photography every day. It's what I do. Community is so important for filmmaking because there's so many moving pieces, there's so many aspects that one brain just can't wrap its mind around everything, or you're going to miss things. There's things that are just going to fall through the cracks, or if you have a lot of people and you get people you trust, you like working with, it's all going to come together much better than if you try to do it on your own. One of my first experiences on a film set, I remember stepping foot on set, and it was chaotic. It was such high energy. There was people running around everywhere doing stuff, and I had no idea what half of them were even doing. And that's, when she kind of you focus a bit, and I was a production assistant, so it was like I would just help anybody. That was kind of my job, is to help whoever needed help. And you start to see what each department does and how important they are, and then it all kind of starts to make sense. And then you start to realize, oh, this is why so many people are needed to make a film happen. And then eventually I found where I wanted to be, behind the camera, and yeah, been doing it ever since. I've always been creative, I guess. Growing up, my favorite toy was a string. It could be whatever I wanted it to be. So I knew I wanted to tell stories. I was always telling stories since I was a kid. And then, once I thought I wanted to be a writer. And then once I started to work on sets, I realized, oh, you can tell stories with the camera. Someone else can write a story, and I can work with these people, and I get to tell my interpretation of that story with the camera, whether it's lighting, whether it's the way the camera moves, whether it's lensing and the size someone is in frame. There's just so many different elements that I get to tell. I get to take someone else's story and help them tell it. I think the whole part of this process that brings me the most joy is just at the end of the day, you've all made something together. And if you've had fun and you didn't hate your life doing it, you weren't miserable, you didn't, dread going into work every day, that is rewarding. And the end product almost matters less. As long as you had fun doing it, you don't get to necessarily control how it turns out in the end. There's so many elements, like you mentioned before. It's a community. There's so many elements, and sometimes those pieces just don't come together, and that's fine. It's going to happen as long as you've had fun doing it. So somebody starting out in this industry, my biggest advice would be, when you get on a project, work hard, be valuable, and learn. And no matter how experienced you become, always be learning, because you're never going to know everything. And when, you have a big gap in work that happens in this industry, don't be down on yourself, because that is the nature of this business. And that is one of the hardest things to get through, is those big gaps in work when you're just like, I don't have another project lined up, and what am I going to do? It'll come together. As long as you've worked hard, you've met people, be nice to people, be just a good person to be around, the work will come back.